Hi, hello everybody. Hi. May I just say that I'm really excited to see some faces here because I realized that this particular link that I shared invited you guys into the studio, which is even more fun. So if you want to have like a brief face-to-face chat, we can totally do that. Um, anyway, thank you for joining me. We are going live here with you beautiful people, and we are going live on YouTube today to do a brief run through of the brand new Virtual Assistant Business Blueprint that was just re-released today. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. I am Erin. I'm the creator of the Business Blueprint. I'm a virtual assistant and a VA coach. I've been doing this since 2012. My picture with a beard is because somebody recently called me the Gandalf of virtual assistants, and I loved that so much. I'm like, I feel like I need to put that on my business cards. So today we are, again, for those who are just joining us now, we are doing a run through of the new VA Business Blueprint program. For those unfamiliar with the program, the reason I created this, initially launched in 2023, was because there's really no standardization for virtual assistants. This is still a career that you can come to on your own accord. You do not need specialty training. You do not need special education. There's really nothing that you need. And while that's a good thing because there's a low barrier to entry, it also means that there is a plethora of virtual assistants out there who are flailing because you have no guidance. So that was the reason that I decided to put some guidelines together to help each and every virtual assistant learn how to run a VA business like a business, to ensure that you're taking care of clients, to ensure that you have long-term relationships with them. I have just re-released an updated program, April 1st, 2025. Industries change, tools change. When I first came out with the course, tools like ChatGPT weren't even invented yet. Hello, I see a comment coming in. Is this related to executive assistants? It is, although we are talking about executive assistants done remotely from your home or wherever you happen to be in the globe. So this new program, things change, industry trends change, and I also took a lot of feedback from students. We had a lot of great feedback from the first initial cohort that went through. The one thing everyone said was that it was really, really long. And I totally understand that. And when a program is too long, people have a tendency to drop off. And so what I have done is I've gone back through the entire program, retooled everything, refilmed all the content, and I've winnowed it down to the essentials that you need to start your thriving VA business from ground zero, no experience needed. But unlike the first version, it won't take weeks and months to get through. In this case, you can actually get through it in one sitting, or I've included pacing sheets so that if you choose to, you can do it over a 2-week period, a 4-week period, an 8-week period, whatever you'd like. This is a self-paced program. Speaking of which, let's talk about, is this program right for you? This is a program that is exclusively designed for beginners. Again, no prior experience necessary. We start from the ground zero. Having said that, if you are a virtual assistant who already has some years under their belt, some experience, some clients, and you're looking for the next steps, i.e., you're looking for advice on how to scale your rates, you're looking for advice for how to find the high-paying clients. Not to say we're not going to find high-paying clients in this program, but there are certain what I like to call VA Business 2.0 steps that I have taken out of this course. So again, if you've got experience under the belt, you probably will find this program too basic. This program, though, was designed for students around the globe. That is one of the most common questions that I get frequently. It's not just for Americans. Although I am an American teacher, there is one module and one module alone that is for American students, and that is based on taxes and how to legally set up your business. So taxes, even for us Americans, they can vary state by state, but they vary widely from country to country. So in that instance, you would skip the American-only tax module But of course, I highly encourage you to research, speak to people, speak to experts, accountants in your own country to make sure that you are doing everything you can to set yourself up for success. As I've mentioned before, all the modules are self-paced. And unlike the first iteration of this course, you can complete this course in one sitting if you really wanted to. You could do it in a week, you could do it in 2 weeks. I've got pacing sheets for you that will plan out each module based on how quickly you would like to get finished with the program, excuse me. And best of all, you have lifetime access. So for students who have already enrolled in the 2023 program that was released, you do not need to pay anything additional. You have access to all updates to the course that I make. So if this course, next year, new tools come out, industry changes come out, and I'm updating the course, you will have access to that as well. You never need to pay to get access to the upgrades of this course. I firmly believe that it is in everyone's best interest to keep up with industry trends, so no need for you to keep paying for access. And finally, you get unlimited email support from me. And I will shortly share a success story about how over email, I was able to help a new virtual assistant um, modify a job application. She met with the CEO, and we'll save the surprise for after, but we did her journey together via email. I'm a big proponent of email access. I love to tailor whatever your specific questions are, your specific needs are. I love to help find out, like, sit with you and think through what's going to help you, your situation best, how we can help your business move forward. So, a lot of people who are looking for VA programs tend to have these four issues, and I hear them from students repeatedly. And people tend to come to me and say, there's so much information about virtual assistants online. There's so many blogs, there's so many videos. I don't know who to turn to or what information is real. And I actually faced the same issues when I started in 2012. Virtual assistants was fairly new at the time. There was a lot less information out there, but even so, there was pieces of blogs, how to start, pieces of blogs over here, how to pay your taxes, pieces of how to manage clients. And some of those pieces were wrong. I learned the hard way. And I still think about a 2012 blog that I read where the freelancer told me I did not have to pay my taxes the first year of business. That was so wrong that I ended up paying some pretty heavy penalties. So part of my solution here is to take those complex ideas and give them to you in one central location in easy to understand sound bites. So the videos that I include in all the modules are about 5 minutes in length. I am taking a lot of convoluted and complicated information and winnowing it down to here's what you need to do, here's what you need to know, what you need to do, and here's how you're going to do it. The purpose there for making videos much shorter, I like everybody else in the world, our attention spans are changing. And I noticed in the first iteration that any videos that were over 10, 15 minutes, that attention started to drop, as did completion of that particular lecture. So I really, really, truly want you to launch your VA business. And I want you to be able to do that successfully. And the only way that you can do that is if you go through each module in order and actually complete each section. Another thing I hear all the time from students, and I had a recent student email me, is that they feel like they don't have the skills to offer as a virtual assistant. I've been doing this again for over 13 years now, and I can tell you, you have the skills. You have skills that are marketable. You have skills that are sellable. You have skills that people are willing to pay you for. And what this course goes through as well is to help you find, and that's one of our earlier modules in the program, is to help you find the skills that you have, that you like, that you can do well, and that you can do virtually. This course is not designed to make you think about skills and learn 40,000 different things before you can actually launch. This course is designed where you could take it, watch the content, and launch within the next week. You have the skills, your experience matters. This is where I help you find them and put a price point to those and immediately start offering them so that you can start making money fast. The third thing that people come to me all the time with is, I don't know how to find clients, or one of the more typical questions I get from VAs is, I've launched, a couple months ago, a year ago, and it's crickets. I have no clients. So this is where this course comes in as well. We take a step back and we really break down in detail, uh, who are you trying to target? Where do you find them? How do you communicate with them? How do you use their language that makes sense to them so that your future clients hear you online or see your marketing materials online and they think, this VA really gets me? We really try to dial down on how to speak to your ideal clients clearly and effectively. You cannot cast a wide net. If you're still somebody who is posting something on LinkedIn that says, I'm a VA, please hire me, that may have worked in 2013, but this market is huge. That is not the case anymore. So we really need to get specific on who you're speaking to and how to speak to them. And then finally, it provides a very clear roadmap for how to start your business, how to launch, and how to work with clients. We are eliminating guesswork because each module takes you through the next logical step to launch your business. So let's take a look inside the blueprint. I'm going to share my screen in a minute, and I'm going to point out a few modules in particular. So we'll talk about those in a little more detail, but let's give you the full view. So I do believe that I can share my screen, but let's figure out how to do that. Okay, screen share. Thank you all for sticking with me. Okay, so I do believe that you are all seeing the curriculum at this point in time. So let's go through a brief overview of the program. I mentioned there are 16 modules. There are chapters within each module. Again, if this is looking overwhelming to you, remember the videos are about 5 minutes or less. So it is entirely possible to get through this course. So the first one kicks off with a program welcome. What we get started with here, and I'm not going to play this video. Are you still seeing? You know what? I just went to a different. I just went to a different tab, so you can't see what I'm showing you. So let me show you here. That's fine. So okay, you are seeing it. So just to show you here, we have this is your welcome video, a tour of the program, how it works, how to use it to the best of your ability. Unlike last year, oh, you can't see this either. Shoot. Well, look at me sharing the wrong tabs. Unlike last year, I did not have a proprietary workbook. This year, there is a workbook for you to follow. I keep it simple. It's not a PDF. I'm going to be honest with you guys. PDFs look really nice, but the reality is most people do not download and type into them. They're not practical. So I share a Google document that you can make a copy of your own to make edits. It links to some helpful materials that you get as part of this program. So not only do you get this workbook to go through each and every module, this serves as a place for you to keep all of your work in one central location so that you can easily, weeks or years later, look back and think, what was my branding again? And boom, here it is. But also, we link to a template vault. I have created over 50 scripts and templates that are ready for you to use with your clients immediately. These are things like welcome letters for clients, how to troubleshoot issues with clients, how to discuss rates, how to discuss contracts. They are scripts for what? That's a great question. I have so many, my mind is going blank. I have different templates for you to get referrals to for certain skills. So rather than you setting up an entire database or travel itineraries, I already have them written for you. Rather than you starting event planning from scratch, I already have those templates built out for you. So the template vault is one of my favorite things that I offer for students. It took me years, well over a decade, for me to build all these things out. So I don't want you to waste your time necessarily having to build your own repertoire of things that you need to use with clients. I have created it for you. The other thing the workbook does is that we go through all of the lectures. So you have action items that will give you a prompt in the video. And I say, hey, action item number 3. This is where you're going to list the skills. This is where we're going to start validating your services, et cetera, et cetera. So the workbook is a really good one that I'm happy to share with you guys. I also have the pacing sheets that I mentioned, so you guys can follow along. It has calendars set up with, Monday do module 1, Tuesday do module 2, et cetera, et cetera. And something I've also included, which is new for everybody this year, is is slides. So in the first iteration of the program, you were seeing predominantly my face with not a lot of visuals. I realize that can get boring real quick. So this year I have slides to accompany so that you can follow along. You can download the slides yourself. So if you don't want to necessarily go back and rewatch a lecture, you can look at the slides and you'll still have a nice reminder, get that information, what you're looking for. So a couple modules that I wanted to point out to you guys initially is, let me see, where are we starting with this? Is module 3. So module 3, finding services to sell. This is one of the more important modules that we start with immediately. And again, it goes through a brainstorm list of all of the skills that you have from current jobs, past jobs, from hobbies. There are things I guarantee you're not thinking about that you can sell as services. So we go through in this section a detailed list of how to brainstorm those out, how to then winnow that list down and select the things that you're great at. What kind of things could you talk about with no preparation? What sort of things do you love to do? For example, I can do accounting and bookkeeping. I do it for my own business, but I hate it. I hate it with a passion. And so it's not something that I offer to my clients because we have a golden opportunity to build a business that we love. And if you're offering tasks and services to clients that you hate, that is not a recipe for long-term growth. Because if you're offering something that you dread, months or years from now, you will wake up, work with your clients and think, I hate my VA business. I don't know how I turned into an accountant. This is not what I wanted. So we take that into account. Your services, your likes, this is all very tailored to you. And of course, after we identify some of those core services, these are the 5 to 10 things that you can start selling today. We will then go through a lecture about how to verify that those skills that you've selected are in demand, AKA, are clients willing to pay for them? So we go through a lecture about how to verify that the services you're ready to offer, you're thinking about offering, are money makers. And then we do a lecture on niche services. So these are things that can make you more money from the get-go. And it's a really interesting lecture that will hopefully get you thinking about, general admin stuff versus tasks that you can offer that might yield higher rates right from the start of your business. Another lecture I wanted to show you. Okay, 4-7, got it. Let's go back to my screen share. Somehow, somewhere. Oh, gosh, went away. There we go. Troubleshooting live. So another module that a lot of students tend to overlook is pricing. And pricing is an art form. I'm not going to lie to you. It's one of the hardest things to do as any new business owner. But more often than not, a lot of new VAs will pick a number out of thin air and think, well, I'll just start offering services at $20 a month or $20 an hour without putting any thought into how do you value the services that we have just discussed in module 3? How do you put a number to your skills? We're going to talk about factors that affect your pricing. These are things like where your clients are located around the globe. We also, this is new, this is different from the first iteration of the program. I go through the 3 most popular types of pricing. That's hourly packages and retainers, which is a flat monthly fee. However, by popular demand, we also go into a deep, deep, deep dive about packages. This is something that students repeatedly told me that they wanted to discuss more of packages. This is one of the more popular ways that people sell their services. And we're doing a deep dive because I truly think that the way most other people teach packages means that you're leaving money on the table. So most people will tell you to do 3 packages. You can see this image up here, basic, standard, premium. I go through the basic model of what this means. What does a basic package look like for you? How many hours is that? How do you charge for that, etc. But I also go into length about how not to leave money on the table. And we talk about custom packaging, different strategies to make sure that clients are not choosing your cheapest packaging. That is also something that I don't think a lot of people talk about. And the way we talk about package comparisons is by talking about ice cream. So I really hope you join me for that module because it makes it a lot more memorable and a lot more fun. Another thing that we discuss at length, and let us go through here. So we have a module on finding your first clients. I will share some success stories soon about students who landed their first clients after just a few weeks of taking this course. We talk in depth about how to brand your own VA business, how to create your brand. You yourself are the brand. So, how to really convey that online. And this is an important one. So laying the foundation. This is something that is probably less fun. It's probably not something you want to think about. Taxes, insurance, making your operations legal. But I break it down in easy to understand ways that are not overwhelming. And I don't want you to hear legal and get scared. The fact is that you, at least as an American, can start working under your social security number. And that's it. You're considered a business owner by working under your social security number without any additional filings or paperwork or et cetera. So we do talk about the pros and cons of working as a VA using your social security number. We talk about the pro cons for creating an LLC. We talk about the pro cons of having insurance versus not having insurance. Again, I try to make this as easy and stress-free as possible, but it's one of the more important things that, again, I don't think a lot of people are talking about because it's not that sexy. Let's be honest. Nobody talks about taxes and has a great time. So this is where I want to make sure that you guys are really setting your business up for success in the long run. And then finally, so modules 8, 9, and 10. And by some degree 11. This is where we start getting real, as the kids say. So module 8 starts with all about connecting with potential clients. And there are not only videos in this section, there are extra resources for you. Have a really interesting interview that I've also done with this phenomenal freelancer who lives in Nigeria. So I want to give you a global perspective as well for how people from all over the world can be connecting with clients, how you can be tailoring your outreach to them, and how it will help you land clients faster the more clearly targeted you are. So connecting with clients is one of my favorite things to talk about. And again, this is where you can watch the lectures and then immediately following the advice, you can do the action items online and start connecting with your potential clients before you even finish the course. So that's the great thing about this as well. I genuinely want you to start your business and start making money from the get-go. I firmly believe that nobody needs to be in a learning mentality for years. You do not need to get stuck on the wheel of more courses, more learning, more. The best thing you can do for your business is to take action now and then continue to learn along the way. And speaking of, after we are connecting with clients, we go into a deep dive about pitching, which is just a fun way to say how to sell your services. You might be surprised in this section that it is actually less about selling yourself and it is more about listening to your clients' needs and understanding how to tailor your answers to their specific problems. The previous lectures of this course all help you prepare They help you prepare, they help you find out what your ideal client's problems are, they help you understand better what clients are looking for. So I'm certainly not throwing you into pitching conversations with no practice. We do practice pitches. I give you tools to practice pitches live, and I make sure that you are wholly prepared to speak to people when it is time to start talking about your business and how you can help potential clients. Which leads us into the exploratory calls. This is just a fancy way to say a job interview. As virtual assistants, we're not employees. We don't have bosses per se. So we don't even necessarily have the same kind of job interview that you'd typically find in a corporate world. So this is the section where we break down how it differs, how you can lead this conversation. And to make it a little more stress free, we really hone in on the fact that the exploratory calls, again, are less about you selling yourself, hard selling, hard convincing the client to hire you. It's more about sussing out, is this client a good fit for me, my personality, my skills? And it's just as important for the client to suss out, are you the right VA for their personality, for their business, for their skills? So it's a really, all these lectures in tandem, some of my absolute favorites. They're really fun. And it's where we get into the really juicy material that's going to help you, pitch clients again and again and again and again. And you will take these lectures with you from start into the future as your VA business is taking off. And then throughout the rest of the program, we will go through tactics to help you close the deal. So what happens when you get off a call with a potential client? I'm going to give you a tactic, the number one best tactic to close the deal. It's surprisingly simple and it works so well. This is where we also go through contracts. We go through onboarding, how to help your clients get up to speed, how you can fact find, facts about your client quickly so that when you start doing tasks for them right away, you don't have 400 million questions for them. We go through some common issues with clients. I have a longer than 5-minute video on cybersecurity because in this day and age, cybersecurity is not only so important, but phishing scams are getting more sophisticated. They're getting harder to spot. So I really break down not only red flags that are typical in scams, but I break down cybersecurity issues like what is social engineering? How might you fall for this? We have a quiz that gives you some examples. Can you spot the phishing attempt? So this is a really good one to hone your skills to make sure that you're keeping your client's data very safe. And of course, this is new. Again, 2023, when this course first came out, AI wasn't even really a thing. Large language models were not even in our minds, and that's changed. So we talk about how how AI is affecting the industry, and also how it's not affecting the industry. A lot of students come to me worried that AI will replace virtual assistants, and I can tell you wholeheartedly that we are not in a place and time where AI is taking your job. The fact of the matter is very basically that busy clients do not have time to prompt engineer. They do not have the time or the patience, nor do they really care about finding the appropriate AI tool to help them write an email. That's not even a thing on their radar. So we talk about realistically, how can you use AI tools to help augment your services, not replace, but augment. So I go through a couple recommendations for tools that will help you schedule faster or help you brainstorm or just things that I think are important for us, help you, book and plan travel, things that can make our work easier and faster without sacrificing your own personal relationships with clients, without sacrificing your creativity, the nuance of the human experience. No AI can replace our brains. And then finally, we end with the VA lifestyle. So we go into you're a VA now. Now, what's the next step? These are things where we talk about how to avoid burnout. So something that very few people talk about when you're just getting started as a virtual assistant or any freelancer for that matter. Typically, people will jump in and think more clients are better because Trust me, I've been there. In 2012, I had my own fears when I launched my business that I wasn't going to have enough clients or make enough money. So what did I do? I willy-nilly said yes to everyone I met. I had 18 clients. I was overwhelmed. I could barely keep up with everyone's work, and I realized I was creating a life that wasn't sustainable. I was building a business that was rife with burnout. I was tired. I wasn't excited for my work. So we do talk about certain lifestyle changes, how to keep yourself um, happy, how to keep your work life balance separate, how to set boundaries so that you're not answering emails at 10 p.m., how to communicate with clients so that they don't expect you to be communicating with them at 10 p.m. So these are the types of things that we go through. We also talk about how to set up things like holidays. You're a business owner now. You do not need to ask your clients for permission to take a vacation or take a leave of absence or take a sick day. So how do you communicate with your clients about those issues without saying, "Can I take a day off?" You're not an employee, you're a partner. And so part of this course is to hopefully teach you how to get into that business owner mindset and get out of the employee mindset as well. So that's the rundown of the course. That's just wanted to show you what is included when you log into the new virtual assistant business blueprint. And I just wanted to share a couple success stories with you. Um, s- a couple stories from the first iteration of the blueprint that came out. There was this woman who was really struggling when she first came to this program to find any clients at all. Part of what we had to do together was discuss her core service offerings and what types of clients she was going after. And we realized that she was going after clients where the interest for virtual assistants was there, but the money wasn't. So after she validated her services, she was able to say, all right, she was going after teachers. She realized that the niche of working with teachers and educators wasn't going to pay her bills. So she switched to a different group of people. She started networking more. And we do talk at length in this program about value first marketing. That's really just to say that it helps to, instead of post things repeatedly like, I'm a VA, I do this. Hire me because I'll do this for you. It really helps instead to set yourself up as an expert in your field and offer help, offer advice. So she took those lessons to heart. And she started offering value first marketing, where she was sharing the latest and greatest tools, or what program is she using to help her write emails? What tools is she using with her calendar to help her organize her day better? And little by little, clients would approach her and say, I've got a problem with my calendar as well. I'd love to talk to you about how you manage your time. And just by offering value to her network, she landed 5 clients almost immediately. I was very happy for her. Um, Another student was living in Vietnam, working with American students, and he was charging them. Sorry, let me rephrase. A student in Vietnam was working with American clients, and at the time was charging $5 an hour, as was the going rate for other VAs within his location. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to pay the bills, and he was feeling like he was working with a lot of clients who did not appreciate his work. And together, we worked out different strategies, different creative pricing strategies that he could present to his American clients. And by the end of the month, he was able to raise his rates from $5 to $15 starting. And of course, from there, he was able to, now that he was at a $15 an hour starting rate, he was able to drop a few clients and really focus on the higher paying clients that he enjoyed working with the most. And then the last story I have up here with you is one of my favorite. There was a woman who landed her first client within days of enrolling in the blueprint. We were talking about different methods for utilizing your immediate network and how new virtual assistants often overlook particular groups of people when you are launching your first business. So she was able to pitch her new VA services to somebody in her immediate network, and they hired her on the spot. Not only did she offer a more niche service, again, we're talking about niche services under the skills section. She was able to offer social media niche, and she was able to price herself higher because she was starting by selling something that warranted a little bit more money. So all of these things are covered in the program. And the last thing I want to mention that is not up here, very recently, within the last month, a student emailed me asking for feedback for her cover letter for a job that she was applying for. And I was able to go through via email, make a few strategic changes, change a couple words, talk about why we were making those changes, making sure that she still felt that they represented herself. And the good news is her cover letter warranted her an interview with the CEO. And of course, we had a couple tips back and forth before the call, how to practice, how to get into a relaxed mindset, how to oh, and also in the template vault, I have documents, typical questions that clients ask so that she could prepare for those. I also have a document in the template vault that will help you take the lead. So I have a list of questions that you, of course, they're all optional, but you could ask your client. And these are things that, again, I've created and refined over the last 13 years of doing this. I've done enough client interviews to know what do they typically want to know, what questions should you be asking to help you determine if they're the best fit for you. Long story short, the interview went well and she ended up getting hired. This was her first client in 20 years because she had just transitioned out of a corporate job and started working for herself again. So I was beyond thrilled that even within the first month of this program, she was able to connect with the client and get hired. So those are just a few success stories that I wanted to share with you guys. And if you are interested in checking out the blueprint for yourselves, it's a fairly simple process. It's not really a process at all. You head over to my website, erinbooth.com. You can check out more of the modules there. You can check out a little more about what outcomes you can expect in this course. And when I say complete your profile, I mean sign up, sign up for the course. There is a community tab. So we have a private VA community where you can converse with other virtual assistants in the program. There are past VAs in there as well. This is where you can share your goals and aspirations. You can introduce yourself. This is also where you can ask questions to the group, asking questions to other VAs like, hey, have you ever dealt with this issue? And getting some feedback can be really helpful. So sign up for the course, introduce yourself to the private community. And then once you're signed up, you can start your learning journey immediately. So everything unlocks all at once. You have access to all the templates, the tools, the additional ebooks, all the videos, all the slides. You get access to everything in perpetuity forever, including all of the updates to the course in the future. Few typical questions. And I'm seeing a few questions come in. I will answer those in the comments shortly. A couple other questions people tend to ask about this course. How much time will you need? This is not a course. Yes, I freely admit that there was so much information on the first iteration that you needed a significant chunk of time to really get through all the material. Very happy to say that it is a lot more concise now. So I would recommend 1 to maybe 2 hours a week. If you wanted to pace yourself where you were finishing the course in, let's say, 2 weeks, over a cup of coffee in the morning, do a few lectures, maybe in the evening, if you have 5, 10, 15 minutes to kill, do a couple more lectures, but you don't need a lot of time to build your business. And if you're following the program in real time, you will be building your business in real time so that by the time you're done with the course, you will have the foundation and the knowledge to start working. How long will you see results? Most students see results within the first month. What support is included? I've mentioned before that email access to me at any time. I answer all student emails myself personally, and I respond to everybody's emails as quickly as I possibly can. And you also have access forever to the private VA community. And then lastly, what is the investment? Right now, this course is priced at $397. It is less than the value of one client. So think of it this way. You are investing in your business. And if you were to land your first client within the first month of taking this course, then your client pays for this course itself. Now, having said that, I am offering because I do recognize that that this is another iteration of the course. If I'm going to keep a heavily discounted coupon up, so right now on my website I have a discount code for 40% off. That knocks off $158 off of that total price. I also have two ways that you can pay. You can do a one-time fee, or you can do a much smaller payment plan. And again, I'm keeping that 40% off coupon probably through the end of the week. And then after which, so we're talking about April 5th, 4th or 5th, after which that price will go back up to 397. Something that I don't believe in is once you pay, you're stuck. I really, truly want you guys to succeed. And I want to make sure that this course is a good fit for you. So I give you 7 days access to the course. If at the end of the week or before the end of the week, you've gone through some modules and you're thinking, you know what, I'm either not ready to do this right now or this isn't a good fit for me, no questions asked. I will refund your money. It's no problem. And again, your exclusive bonuses as part of this program, not only do you get the 16 modules that take you from point A to point B, but you also get the template vault 50 scripts, 50 templates to get you started working faster. I've got a walkthrough for how to create your contracts for free. I've got specific ebooks on pitching and LinkedIn. We go through both of those things just enough so that you could set up a great LinkedIn profile and you can start pitching clients. But if you want to take it a little further and you want to become a LinkedIn guru, I have an ebook for you, 60 pages walking you through the entire process. So I do include certain ebooks. If I create more ebooks in the future, I will also include those in this course. So yes, I'm very excited about this course in particular. I think it's a really strong second iteration because I got such great feedback on the first iteration, and because I was able to winnow down so that it's more concise, so that you're not as overwhelmed, so that the videos are 5 minutes each. Again, I really want you to finish this course, and I really want you to start working with clients. That is my end goal. My end goal for you and your outcome is that you find, connect with, pitch, and land clients immediately upon taking this course. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I've got a few more minutes. Thanks for your patience. I've already kept you here for 45 minutes. Uh, I do see a few comments coming in. Do you provide a tailored guide for a VA after the course? The tailored guide is your workbook. So the guide is there throughout the entire process. So in a sense, yes. After the course, I'm not going to say your next step is A, only because if you go through the course through each module in the order that it's planned out, you will be, doing, okay, my step A is to figure out my services, done in the moment. My step B is to figure out how to price those, done. My step C is to figure out how to brand myself as an expert with my services, done. So we're doing it live in the moment. Again, my sorry, I put the wrong comment up. And hello from Nigeria. My goal is for you is to launch in tandem with this course. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Again, I'm very excited about this. If you head to the website, you want to knock off 40% right now. Again, that's a savings of $158 US. The code is 2025. Very tricky code, but I really, really encourage you guys to think about this very seriously. Really encourage you guys to think, are you ready to launch this business? Are you ready to get the guidelines to know how to speak to clients? These are the things that matter. These are the things that a lot of virtual assistants and new freelancers overlook. Trust me when I say I was in the same position when I started in 2012. You get really hyped up about something and you think, I'm going to have, there's so many people in the world who need admin services. I'm going to have no problem connecting with someone. And then you realize, oh, I actually don't know who to look for, how to talk to them, how to find them. Again, a website or a LinkedIn page in 2025 isn't going to attract the clients like it used to. So we go through the legwork. What do you need to know? What do you have to do? How do you actually find and connect with these people? Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, one of my favorite things that I do as a coach is help people globally. You have no idea what satisfaction I get when I get emails from students who say, thanks to your videos after this program, I did XYZ. There's one student who started off as a solo VA, and she ended up doing so well that she's hired a team of 2 other virtual assistants to work underneath her. So the building blocks are here, and you will be able to take these building blocks and use them for all of your future clients. Um, and again, it's open to students globally. All the information that I share is not just for Americans because I'm American. It is truly about how to set rates that work for you, for your marketplace, for your target audience. And okay, here's a good question. Showing up, a little bit of everything, and you don't know how to choose which job to start as a BA. This is a great question. This is something that we also go through in the program. Because I agree. I hear a lot of people say, I don't really know what to offer and I'm overwhelmed. So, one of the very first lectures we go through is what services do you already know how to do? What services and skills do you already have that you could start selling? Then we verify those skills. And I bring up the verification again because in the example of one of the first students in the first iteration of this program, uh, she came from a teaching background and she thought, I want to work with teachers. Unfortunately, there was not a lot of verification happening. She just thought, well, if I'm a teacher and I need these services, surely other teachers will need these as well. And that wasn't the case because teachers were unwilling to pay her rates, unwilling and unable. So we went through verification, how to verify which clients she could work with her education background and which clients could afford her services. So we did things like suggest should she go into ed tech. Those are tech companies who work in education or build education apps and tools. So there are things in this course that we'll talk about, ways in which you can use your existing skills and services and the ways in which you can reach the clients that need your services and they're willing to pay for. So I understand how overwhelming it can be. And hopefully by going through some of these exercises in your workbook, you'll get a better sense for what you can start offering today. And just a note on, what skills you offer today, what prices you offer today. When you launch your business is not set in stone. When I launched my business, I started at $20 an hour and I was offering completely different services. Over the years, as you gain more experience, as you become more confident, as you learn new skills just by assisting your clients, you will be able to increase your rates. And of course, I have scripts for that. You will be able to either add different skills to sell or you will drop services because you realize you hate to do them. So nothing you're building today is going to dictate what your business looks like in 10 years. But it is important that you have the appropriate building blocks to understand how to keep yourself legal, how to keep yourself safe, how to keep your clients' data safe, how to speak to clients. And as you change your services, as you pitch clients in the future, 10 years from now, as you pitch them, you will still have the building blocks to be able to speak to their needs, to be able to tailor your pitch and your services to their companies, their needs, their problems. So the building blocks are important for sure. And this is a fun comment. I'm so glad. Boundaries with a red flag client. I am so sorry you were dealing with a red flag client. Lord knows I've had my fair share. So being able to spot some of these red flags, but more importantly, being able to communicate with them and set some boundaries so that you do not feel that they are, I hesitate to use the word abuse. That's very strong, but they are not overstepping and demanding too much. I had a client back in the day who would email me like, hey, Erin, book a flight at 7 a.m. tomorrow, and it would be midnight. So I'd be asleep and I would miss those emails. So we had many boundary settings where I was like, please tell me when you want to book a flight at least 24 hours in advance. But I'm sorry that you experienced that, and I'm glad some of these videos are helpful. Um, okay, I don't see any more questions coming in, which is great. I will leave you with this. There's more information on my website at erinbooth.com. And if you have specific questions for me after the fact, maybe something pops into your mind, you can reach me directly through the contact section of my website. It goes right to my inbox, and I will respond to you personally. I see one more question coming up. Any websites to apply besides Upwork and LinkedIn? Yes, certainly. We do go through there is one awesome lecture that goes where I mentioned this earlier. I interview this incredible, fully booked out, um, just absolutely, he's killing it, freelancer from Nigeria who works on Fiverr. He's got some tips for you. I included that in his interview because his process goes hand in hand with my process. You still have to research your clients and tailor your pitches to them, etc. But I included that because his point of view is different from my point of view. He works on these platforms, and I don't want you to get the impression that you cannot work on these platforms and be successful. But I teach you how to find people independent of these platforms. So let's say one day Fiverr changes or Upwork changes their entire ethos of their company, and they're like, you know what, we're no longer working with freelancers, we're going to work with golfers. Okay, clearly that's a crazy example, I'm making this up, but when you're dependent on a platform, it means you're dependent on their rules. So if Upwork or Fiverr were to decide one day that you've done something against the rules, they could kick you off. If you do something that LinkedIn doesn't approve of, like you have 2 or 3 different profiles, they'll kick you off. So when you're beholden to a platform, you run the risk of being restrained in ways that like you really can't control. So, yeah, I teach you, instead of the platforms, how to connect with clients that are independent. That means it's you reaching out to individuals or companies, or individuals within companies, so that you can pitch them directly. They pay you directly. There's no middleman. There's no platform like Fiverr or Upwork. But again, my way is not the only way. It's not my way or the highway. So we do talk about both. We talk about how to utilize different social media platforms to start attracting your ideal clients as well. So that was a great question. Thank you for asking that. Yeah. All right. I've kept you guys for a full hour. I want to sincerely thank you for spending your afternoon with me. I know how busy you guys are, so just sincere thanks for lending me your ear. And again, if you have any questions that you think of after this live, do not hesitate to go to my website, send me a message. I will happily answer any and all questions that you guys have. Thank you so much. And it was so nice to see some familiar faces on here. Appreciate you guys joining. And yeah, appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the program. Bye, everybody.